Um, hey you guys, I had a message I was supposed to share actually a little while. I've been sitting on it, and I wasn't sure if I should share it. It was just kept for me, and I've been getting some confirmation on this word, and so I'm just gonna share it. It's based on a dream that I had actually. Um, so I have not planned what I'm gonna say on here. God already showed me what He wanted me to understand about this dream. So as I understand, I will share it with you here now. I'm just completely going off the spirit here. So whatever I say in this video I'm praying in Jesus Christ's name that it be spirit led, and that you will have understanding to understand what I'm saying and in this what God is saying in this video for you to be able to prepare. And yeah, so basically the dream goes like this. I had this dream based back in 2017. I had a lot of dreams in 2017, and only now I'm on my own. I'm understanding some of those dreams. Only now am I understanding some of those dreams. But anyway, let me tell you the thing about these dreams. Okay, so lay down, Estelle. Um, in this dream, I was out to sea, right? And can you relax? Okay. In this dream, I was out to sea, and I was on like a wooden raft. And on this raft were like building materials, but in the dream, I understood that it was not mine. Um, all of a sudden, I looked out. I saw like the shore, the seashore, and I saw the seashore, and I knew that first of all, the raft that I was on, the wooden raft that I was on. Sorry, my daughter. Look, can I make this video, please? Sorry, guys. She wants to see who's on the camera. My phone, I don't know what's going on with my phone camera. You hardly could see me. But anyway, I hope that the message will make an impact. So basically, yes, I'm on the raft, the wooden raft. I looked out from the sea. I see the seashore. I know I have to get to the seashore. But before I can get to the seashore on the raft, the raft like suddenly flips over. So now I'm like, I have to suddenly like there's no you can't I'm not I had any chance to think about it, but I end up running on the water to get to the shore because the raft completely in the middle of the ocean flipped over with all the building materials that was in mine on it. It completely flipped over. And I had to run on the water to get to the shore, and I got to the shore safely. And I went and I ran to like this door. It was like a door leading to an underground church. And I ran to the door and I asked this lady from the church. I said, "Can you help me? I just lost everything." And she said, "No." She basically said no. She was not gonna help me. And so I saw this homeless lady sitting down. I said, "Can you help me? I just lost everything." And the homeless lady, she said yes. Surprisingly, considering she had nothing, but she was willing to help me. And then the lady from the church, it seemed like an underground church, right? The door leading to underground, that stairs underground. So it's church, like I understood it was a church. And she came back up and threatened the homeless lady, saying to the homeless lady, because you agreed to help, because the homeless lady agreed to help me. She threatened to expose her and just like being mean to her. But I said, I saw that I looked at the homeless lady and I said, I'm sorry. That I'm sorry that I got you in trouble. And she didn't seem to care because she just agreed to help me. And that was the end of the dream. And for a long time, I never understood this dream until recently. Like I said, God speaks through numbers, and I'd like to give you all the numbers that He gave me that lead me to this interpretation. But let's skip that for now. I could, if you would like me to, I could make another video with the interpretation and notes that I took down. If you would like to learn how God helps me to learn the interpretation of numbers, if you're interested in that, I can do that. But for the time being, I want to focus on the message, and I hope it makes an impact. And as all, I pray that all those who are listening will understand it in Jesus Christ's name. Um, yeah. So basically, dreaming, God's been showing me inviting, right? Of Him inviting, people, He's calling His people out. Like how they say being called out to the deep and being called out to get deeper in God, representing the sea and so forth. And that was me basically being called out. And the raft, I had asked this pastor who does deals with dream interpretation, Pastor John Lopez, and he had helped me understand that raft to represent a place of safety, which it was, and the raft flipping represent basically God was, he allowed it to flip basically to kind of get me out of that comfort zone, that comfort, and it caused me to make a quick decision, right? Either I sink with this raft or I believe God and I run on this water to get to shore. One of the two gotta happen because the raft was slipped so suddenly. I had to make a very quick choice, which I choose to run on the water. And so he had me to understand that, first of all, the raft represents a place of safety. I'm not sure what the bill of material not being mine is exactly about, but when I do get the understanding of it, I'll come back in here and share it. But I'm not entirely sure why I was on a raft with a bill of material that was not mine. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I even had a dream prior to this dream that I dreamed like me and my husband was heading out to sea. Right? We were called out to come to sea, and we were heading out to sea, and we were carrying food, which represents the words of God, basically. We go to share it, I guess, and teach it, or so forth, whatever it is. And it connects with this dream, but I'm going to focus on this dream. So as I'm out to sea, I'm looking at the seashore, I see land, I'm seeing like I have to get to land. But I believe that in the dream, what? Esther, stop. Okay, you did not pee in your pampers. You did not pee. And pee and poop is not the same thing. I need to finish making the video. Can you just watch PJ Masks or Mask until I finish? Okay? You have my attention afterward. Sorry, you guys. I don't know. When I'm on the phone, they like to talk to me. I guess they like to see my. Anyways, let's get these kids. Kids do it. Yeah. So I was on a raft, and the raft suddenly flipped over. And I believe that God allowed the raft to flip suddenly, because it was His way of kind of like saying, "Time for you to leap." I feel like it was His way of saying. I discern as His way of saying, like, it's time to leap in faith. Right? You're gonna either do it or you're not gonna do it. And I decided to do it. Right? And I ran on the water, and what he showed me recently was me walking on the water, just like not walking, but running on the water, represent. How like when Jesus came walking on the water, it was like, what manner of man is this? First, he came walking on, he can walk on water, and Peter said, "Can I come?" And he said, "Come," and he bid Peter to come, and Peter was able to walk on water just on the fact that Jesus said, "Come." And just the fact that if you see somebody walking on water, it's just a representation of a demonstration of power, right? And that's what God showed to me. The Father showed me this to me, that me running on the water was a demonstration of His Spirit and His power, right? Because I was not able to walk and run on that water by myself. I was not able to do that by myself. I could never. So me being able to run on that water was the demonstration of God's power and of His Spirit, right? And for me to be able to get on land. Now the two women, like in the Bible, Jesus talk about like when it's when you return, there's gonna be two women, one in the field, they're gonna be in the field, one is gonna be taken, and next one left. Two, that kind of metaphor like God uses, like two. He refers to the world as a woman, in the Book of Revelation, being punished, the world, those who love the world as a woman. Adultery also refers to women, like when people do idol worship. He refers to them as like a form of adultery, like a woman, right? Or just the spirit of Jezebel, a woman. He refers to that the world as a her, or sometimes as a like just to understand it, like a her, the woman, or woman can represent. Help me? What's an example? What can woman represent? Also in the Bible. Gosh. I just all of a sudden a woman understand these two women represent something. It wasn't just two women, the church lady and the homeless lady. And I was like, what do you mean? I asked him, like, what are you trying to say? But what did these two women could possibly represent? And he started showing me numbers that related to talking about being kicked out of the synagogue, talking about being there being followays, people walking in, it's gonna say open rebellion and disobedience because they're not persuaded. It's a fruit of their unbelief, basically. So the disobedience and rebellion is actually a fruit of them not believing what God said. And what else? So basically, what he was showing me, what he eventually revealed to me, what he was showing me to this dream is this: as I was coming, I was called. The dream is basically I was called to see. He was the one that invited me. I was in a place of safety, which was representative of wrath. Suddenly, I had to come out of that place of safety and step in faith, which which me basically running on water to get to the shore. Right, the shore is a place of I'm on land now. When I do get to land, I'm asking for help. The church rejects me. The church rejects me. But the homeless woman received me. You guys, you can, anyway, let me finish going. That's what God revealed. The church rejects me. The woman received me. And then he reveals like the church, like how when Jesus' hair was on earth, it was the religious folks, it was the religious leaders that wanted to put him to death. It was the religious leaders that they saw the power of God operating in Jesus' life. They saw the demonstration of God's power in Jesus Christ, and they still rejected him. In fact, they hated him. But it was the publicans, it was the adulterers, it was the fornicators, it was the sinners that received him and his word and the demonstration of God's power. Even the lady who came and said that Jesus, her son, her daughter was possessed by devils, and she wanted Jesus to deliver her daughter. And Jesus said, call her a dog. And she still said, even the dogs eat from the master table. And even she had faith. The centurion, the soldier, said, come in, I just speak, and my servant will be healed. And they had faith. They received. Okay, sorry. The world, the one you didn't even expect to receive Christ, received Christ. And the ones you expect should receive Christ, rejected him. And so basically, yeah. So that's what he basically revealed. The church who rejected me was just a representation of the religious folks, those in the church that they have a form of godliness but deny the power. Basically, that's all that represented them, that have a form of godliness but denying the power. Yeah, having a form of godliness and denying the power. And then the homeless lady, she more like represented they that were outcasts, the world rejects, like how the story of the king where he sent his servants, he prepares for a wedding feast or a party or whatever, and he invites the people to come to the banquet, and the ones who were invited were like, no, I'm going to go to my farm and I'm going to do this, and no, I have this to go to, and they refused to go. And so the king said, you know what, go to the highways and byways and bring who all you could bring. And they brought everybody who they could bring from the highways and the byways, the least to the greatest, who would come and hearken to the invitation to come to this banquet. So basically, the homeless lady was a representation of that. Basically, me, like I said, the church lady was a representation of those who know they have the form of godliness but deny his power. They look religious, they look spiritual, but they deny his power, which was represented why they rejected me, because me walking around on that water was a sign of God's demonstration of his spirit and his power. And so them basically rejecting me was them also rejecting God, and it manifested because they didn't believe in him, and they didn't believe in his power, and they didn't believe that probably he couldn't heal or he couldn't deliver. It manifested as open rebellion, open disobedience. They refused to help me. But the homeless lady agreed to help me, even though the church threatened to expose her and threatened to whatever. She still accepted to help me, which is a representation of the church, but not the church of God, basically. Not the church of God, obviously, but the church, the religious system, rejecting God. And then those who least expect, these are the ones who will receive the message. These are the ones who are not going to reject the message. They're not going to reject the demonstration of God's Spirit and his power. Basically, that's all this dream is about. If you're going to walk if in the future you desire to walk in the demonstration of God's Spirit and God's power, it's not going to be like what you think. Matter of fact, God's been showing me being kicked out. He's been showing me kicked out of the synagogue. kicked out of the synagogue. They're going to kick you out of the synagogue. They're going to kick me out of the synagogue. If you're walking in God's love, walking in His demonstration, His power, be walking in the light that is Him, they're going to reject us. They're going to reject, just like how they rejected Jesus Christ. They said, He's the devil. They said, they, even though he was doing all these great marks and people were being healed, they still try to discredit it. To be, this dream is basically revealing. Be expecting of that. Be expecting that when you think that you should receive help, you're not going to receive help from those places, but you're going to get help from an unexpected place, right? Also, when you think that I'm going to go into the churches and speak the word of God, and you think that they're going to receive you, these are going to be the very ones that are going to reject you, and then you're going to have to go, and then the ones in the highways and the byways and the homeless and the poor and the outcasts, these are the ones that are going to receive the power of God and the demonstration of His power. So it's just like a heads up. I feel like this dream is just like a heads up. Like when you see you being persecuted, you're going to be persecuted by the actual church. That's who Jesus was persecuted by, the religious leaders. He wasn't even really persecuted by the sinners and the publicans. It was the religious leaders that persecuted Him. It was those who were in the church that were persecuting Him and scoffing and mocking Him and trying to catch Him in His speech. It was those from the church. So when this time comes, don't be like surprised, really. Because God showed me the reason why they are like that is because they had a chance to believe in His power and for His power to be demonstrated in their life, but they choose not to believe. And so, like Jesus said, they try to shut men out from the kingdom of heaven. They speak a good word. They're hypocrites, like Jesus said. But they deny His power. They don't actually walk in the power, and they try to shut men out from that as well, from not walking in the power of God. Just walking by a lot of scriptures and a lot of words, but no demonstration. But God wants to demonstrate His power and His glory in our lives, and we must be willing. All of us must be willing to do it, and be willing to that when His power is made manifest in our life, just expect persecution. Expect persecution from those who you least expect it. Because basically that's the word right there. If you wanted me to share, make a video of the numbers I received to come to these, this revelation of this dream that God has given me, you can leave a comment below and so ask me, and I will just I'll work on that. I have kids, trying to find a quiet time, or them not trying to follow me in the front room or in the bathroom when I'm trying to make a video, making noise. Pray for me. And pray I get a new phone. I need a new phone. Pray God will provide me a new phone. I know He would. I need to have a better camera quality so you can see me as I'm making a video. But I have another message too. I don't know if I should share it on this. I probably should. But He's been talking to me about the judgment of the wicked. Now we're gonna see it. Now the grace period is come to an end. Now we're gonna see the reward of the wicked, the recompense, the retribution of the wicked. We're gonna see it. He shared me. You can read Deuteronomy 32, 35. That's what He shared me. Deuteronomy 32, 35. What's the next one? I think it's Isaiah 35, 35, 3 to 6, verses 3 to 6. So Isaiah chapter 35, verses 3 to 6. Read those two scriptures. That's what He's been showing me. So I'm expecting to see God's repaying His enemies back for all that they have done and all that they deserve. Because His grace period is up for the wicked. Their time of repentance, the time for them to repent, to turn from their wicked ways. They had a period. God was merciful. Now we're going to see it. And He said, basically in Deuteronomy 32, verses 35, chapter 32, verses 35, Deuteronomy, it says that their calamity, their distress hasten upon them. It's coming quickly. I had a dream about that in 2017. In the dream I was in the house basically, and the house is all white, and I looked out through the window and I saw this guy running from the beach from a wave, and the wave was coming kind of slow, so it looked like he would get away. And then suddenly a wave from a different direction, from his right side, suddenly out of nowhere, even I didn't see it coming, completely took him out, and he was like disappearing from the wave because the wave like swallowed him up. And I prayed for, I think for 2 to 3 weeks. I was asking God what does it mean, and He basically gave me the verse from Psalms 91. Because you've made this house represent me, the house I was in, and the room I was in represented intimacy and rest. He said, because you made the Lord thy refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, therefore no evil shall befall you, neither shall thy plague come near dwelling. So that part of the dream is for me. But the part where I saw the guy, he gave me this: only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. So Psalms 21, meditate on that. Read that. That's good. You're gonna need it in this time. You're gonna be focused. And so I'm just gonna stop there. I don't know if there's anything else I should share. Yeah, this is the time to be at rest. This is the time to be at rest in God's love. This is the time to just to know all those words that God has been spoken to you. You know what God has said to you. I know what God has said to me. It's a time to rest in that. It's a time to know that God is certainly bringing it to pass. It's a time to trust Him. According to Jeremiah 17, verses 7 to 8, you need to put your trust in God so you make a tree planted by the rivers of water, bringing forth our food in season. It's a time to trust God, not to put your trust in man, to abide in the secret place. And the secret place is a place of prayer. In case if you don't know, it's just basically a place of prayer. He said, when you go to pray, go into your closet and shut your door. Whatever you do in secret, your Father should reward you openly. You can do whatever in your secret, fast in your secret. He says, whatever you do in secret, your Father should reward you openly. So if you do righteousness in secret, you shall be rewarded with a righteous reward. But if you do wickedness in secret, then you shall be rewarded with wickedness, right? So it's for the wicked, God returns their wickedness upon their own heads. But for the righteous, he repays. You get stuff like life, you get stuff like peace, you get stuff like joy, prosperity, health, sound mind. All of these are the payments for the righteous. But for the wicked, they get their own evils, the things that they sow, they fall upon their own heads. And so, yeah, I think definitely, that's it. Yeah. So, you guys have a blessed day. See you later. Goodbye.